recording live. All right, we've got Dirtttmannn versus PurpATL. Let's see how their leads go. Dirtttmannn with the Donphan as the obvious lead, and PurpATL with the Skarmory filling that same role. But we've seen in these matches that players like to change it up and really play the mind games on the lead spot.
That we
Especially,
do.
especially with the dedicated leads, the counter lead meta is there as well. We could see an Arcanine expecting the Skarmory. On the same side, we could see a Starmie expecting the Donphan.
I do enjoy the last minute mind games going into a match of which lead will you pick, which one do you think is expected, how do you counter, and so on.
And here we go. Oh, and it's the Starmie versus Donovan McNabb.
Perp winning that mind battle right there.
Dirtttmannn getting the sturdy with Donovan, getting the toxic off on the Starmie as opposed to setting up his own rocks. He's either going to have to swap or die here. As they stare each other down.
An interesting choice given that chance he more than likely has Heal Bell. Granted, if he threw the rock, Starmie is his rapid spinner too, so.
Yeah, it's hard to spin into the Starmie. You can throw a knockoff at it to have a super effective hit against its psychic typing. That probably would have been a great lead for the move if you're expecting to go into your sturdy. Other than that, you just got to swap it immediately. But Slowbro easily able to tank off those Scalds, and Starmie easily able to tank off a Scald as they trade them Scald for Scald. But the Toxic on the Starmie is taking the damage, also protecting it from any burn procs. Ice Beam
Fishing.
not having much better work. That these two are fairly intent on leaving this matchup in play.
Running
Starmie
recover.
with the recover. Psyshock also not doing much. But that Toxic is just ticking away at this point. And
Oh,
there's
the
the
natural
natural
cure.
cure. A critical hit off the Ice Beam into the Jolteon. Let's see if Dirtttmannn makes the swap here. This would be a great opportunity to get Venusaur in. And he does. Soaking up that Thunderbolt pretty well. But ooh, the
Oh,
paralysis.
that's going to be pretty big. He's already pretty slow, but still, that chance to not make a move is going to be big.
Yeah, the turn economy can eat into it. There's the Mega Evolution, but there immediately is the fully paralyzed.
I like the Skarmory pick here.
It's got a good type matchup, but its physical defense isn't going to do it too many favors. It is
Leech
a
Seed's
good
going to prevent it
opportunity.
from.
Yeah, you can get those rocks out, and now you can go ahead and swap on the Leech Seed. A paralysis coming in, but just whirlwind out of the Skarmory. We know he loves to use it. But the Leech Seeds are just going to heal up the damage that those rocks are doing unless it hits something that's weak to it. Let's see, and then a Thunder Wave and a fully paralyzed. These guys are both playing the action economy game, bringing the Thunder Waves, setting those paralysis in, and an Ice Beam hitting pretty hard as the Whirlwind just continues
He doesn't
whirling
seem to
away.
get that he's healing up all the damage that he's doing with these whirlwinds.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too disappointed with going ahead and Brave Birding the Skarmory into the Venusaur. Either that or you just got to switch it out and go for roost openings later. Yeah, Chansey coming in, the Giga Drain not doing much, but getting Matthew up to that 100%.
I really want to see a heal bell so he can heal up his team a bit so that they can actually make their moves, but he's just going all offensive.
Yeah, going for the Sludge Bomb, not even taking the opportunity to get his Leech Seed out there.
Oh,
Fully paralyzed again, just cutting into him with the turn economy. There's a Protect. I guess this is more of a stall Venusaur, but on that build, I would prefer the hard Toxic as opposed to trusting the Sludge Bomb procs. It can get you more leech seed drain, though. That is definitely a direct draining effect. Seismic Toss going into Alex the Arcanine. Should be able to threaten this Chansey out. Will Dirtttmannn make the prediction on a swap, or will he just click what's good against the Chansey? Either way, PurpATL going to be taking some damage from this Arcanine. Dirtttmannn did have to pay for that opportunity, though. The Arcanine taking the Stealth Rocks and the Seismic Toss, chipping it down to 44%. It is typically built as a bit of a suicide sweeper, so its own recoil shortening its lifespan even more. Dirtttmann's really got to get some momentum out of it, though.
Yeah, the Chansey basically 1v1ing his Mega Venusaur. Granted, it was paralyzed and he had a lot of good moves, but man, I did
Yeah,
not see that coming.
if a Leech Seed had been able to sit out there, I definitely would have seen it. Oh, and going for that Thoraki helmet damage. Again, just chipping away at the Arcanine there.
Yeah, I like the sack there.
And this is a speed matchup that I believe is going to go in Aerodactyl's favor. Dirtttmannn, his Arcanine's beat up. It could survive another Rocks. I'd be fine with saving it for something like that. You're just not going to be able to switch it in, and it's going to be set as a revenge killer. Going with the
There
Mega
you go.
Venusaur, and the Stone
Oh,
Edge misses. But with this Venusaur being paralyzed, as well as Aerodactyl being fast as fuck, boys, it's going to take a couple misses for the Venusaur to really get any kind of thing going with the Leech Seed and some form of healing. And Dirtttmannn just hard swapping. He's going to have a way to get rid of these rocks with his Donphan dead. I'm not seeing how he's going to do that on his team. Otherwise, his Venusaur is just going to swap in and die. The Pain Split, healing dug the Dusclops back up off the Chansey. But this matchup is just going to be a slow grind. The Will-O-Wisp coming out, but this Chansey's going to have Heal Bell.
oh,
Yeah, so both of them have attacking moves
it's
that are
amazing.
that are immune to each other. They can't do anything in this matchup.
I'm still waiting for the heal bell from Chansey. It would definitely help out. Well, I guess his Skarmory's dead, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, I think he was fine with just taking a couple more burn ticks to try and get some seismic toss damage, but just forgetting that the
There
ghost
you go.
typing of Dusclops is gonna keep him
And he
immune.
does it again.
Yeah, Dirtttmannn just mashing Nightshade. I guess just willing to sit in here and stall out a little while. The burn coming out, but Chansey's proven to have the heal bell, and it's just going to soft boil up the damage when it feels like it. And there goes the soft boil
Now,
into
is it not
another
running toxic?
Nightshade. No, Dusclops typically runs Will-O-Wisp for the drop in
Oh,
particular. Oh,
Chansey
there's the
is.
Chansey. Yes, there's the toxic from the Chansey. The
Well, there you
odd
go. That'll
thing
speed
about
things
it
up.
is the toxic on the Dusclops actually allows it to threaten the Chansey more with pain splits healing itself up in the same situation. But Dirtttmannn just going to Charles, a little unsure on how to handle this Chansey, going into another special attacker that's just not going to be able to damage it, and we're just going to see some more healing stall.
And likely come out of it with another toxic on it as well.
Yeah, almost definitely. If I'm in Perp's situation right here, I'm fine just clicking toxic. Going with the heal bell to remove the burn. Thunderwave to paralyze.
That's an amazing prediction from Dirtman to know that he was gonna heal Bell.
And the Psyshock actually hitting decent against the Chansey as Psyshock attacks the defense of the Pokemon, but it's still just not going to be enough to put it on any sort of clock. Yeah, now with that Toxic out, I'd consider switching to Slowbro immediately and just letting the Regenerator top it on off. I imagine he's just going to be scared and click Slack off. Oh, there's the switch. This is Dominican Luis. It's Dominican Luigi's cousin. And it's really going to depend on how it's built for if it can do anything to this Chansey. And it's a
Oh,
special attacker. That's so good. Just more toxics getting spread around.
now it will have natural cure, so you can swap it out any time, but it's still not going to make any headway. And the Arcanine attacks the
Oh,
rock.
not
Arcanine Tates.
surviving. I was wrong on that 20%.
And
The
that
fire
is the
typing
last
weakness.
physical attacker that Dirtman has in the field.
Yeah, Dirtman losing his Donphan off the rip and then just taking so much damage on his Arcanine as well as his Venusaur just put him in a position where he's not going to be able to win this stall battle. Chansey's just going to be able to sit here even through the paralysis. The paralysis actually may work into Chansey's benefit in letting it save some PP as the toxic kills the opponents.
And prevents it from being toxic or burned in exchange.
Exactly. Dirtman only having the burns besides the Venusaur, which will die to rocks on entry. So there's only burn chances here. Burn off the Scald, burn off the Will-O-Wisp. Unless Luis has something, but Giga Drain, it's just, you're going into the special wall. And knowing that this thing has natural cure, I'd be fine seeing some seismic tosses on it, but Perp just wants to get that toxic on it. He just wants to toxic stall out the rest of this team. Just eating up those Giga Drains. There he goes with the seismic toss, 29%, a respectable amount. Just the Giga Drain's doing near nothing. The seismic toss is pushing the damage through.
Now, Perp's getting kind of low. A few.
He
No, never
is,
mind.
but an easy soft boil happens. He's going to play it before it gets too low so that he has a few chances before the paralysis happens. If there's the paralysis, that's Dirtmann's only chance. A big crit putting the Chansey back down to a yellow, but still at 41%. It's going to take a while. It's going to take several paralysis. And there's the soft boil going off back up to 77. Yeah, if I'm Dirtmann, I just don't know how I get out of this one. And honestly, yeah, barring 4 paralyze hacks, you're not getting through the Chansey, and then you have the rest of the team to get through, and it's threatening with a lot of power.
And his team's pretty beat up. I think 3 of them are toxic, and one of them is paralyzed.
There's the natural cure as Perp decides that he's tired of going through this toxic stall. He's just going to try and break through. He can always go back to the Chansey if he needs to. He's got Pokemon to spare at this point. But that Aerodactyl not enjoying. Oh, and a
Oh,
big aerial ace with the crit to just crush that grass Pokemon. And here comes Slowbro, already toxic, already beat up. It's going to be slow. Aerodactyl, it's time to tear through the team. Oh my god, he goes into the Chansey eating the Thunder Wave. Overall, going into the Chansey, definitely the safer move in that situation. Just protecting his Aerodactyl. Maybe he'll go back into it now and try and continue to sweep up, but then you're risking getting the burn. I'd like to see a Jolteon or a Starmie try and come out here. You know, if he dies, he dies. But otherwise, he can push with some special attacks without having to worry about the burn. And if they die, you can go straight into the physical attacker to try and push at least one big hit in before the Will-O-Wisp. Dirtmann showing that he knows the importance of burning anything that swaps in, going ahead and pre-burning on predicted swap-ins. But it's not like it can do anything else against this Chansey anyway. Going into Matthew, killing him on the rocks. Free heal bell for the Chansey. back into the poison Dusclops that is poisoned and cannot do anything to the Chansey besides Pain Split. Perp goes into Metagross. Oh, and there's a Will-O-Wisp predicting it. At the same time, what else do you do when you're facing that Chansey with the Dusclops yet again? Meteor Mash getting some damage in, but the burn is just too much.
Okay.
Pain Split. I'd almost leave the Metagross in and just try and let them both go low so that you can come in and revenge kill with either three of your fast sweepers afterwards. No rocks, no hazards to deal with. You can bring in that low Starmie and clean up. The first step of that, of course, is leaving it in, but no, he goes straight for the Starmie, but oh, into a Protect. The Toxic bringing Doug even lower. The Pain Split not going to be as effective with Starmie at 32%. Starmie going for a Recover and a Will-O-Wisp onto the Starmie. Not a huge deal because the Starmie is a special attacker as well as has the natural cure if he swaps it out at any point, but you've got two Pokemon to beat through. Let's just click some attacking moves. And they're staring each other down, taking a while to make this decision. Dirtttmannn just feeling the pressure of the match. With a win here, he could have potentially snuck into the top four, going for the protecting against the Scald, and the Toxic just takes out the Dusknoir. Out comes the beat up and poison Charles.
We'll see if he actually tries to stall it out more or if he just kind of lets it go.
And out comes the Chansey to eat the Ice Beams. Chansey, Pleasant Seismic Toss, putting the pressure on. The Toxic going to tick him low down to 11%. Just another Seismic Toss. Boom. And that is it. Dirtttmannn just getting swept away by the Chansey.
Yeah, he really just did not have much of an answer once Arcanine was gone, and Donphan. So let's see if he changes up his leads from the Donphan. See if he can pull out a win on the mind games this time.
Yeah, let's see. Oh my god, our announcers can't even type. But we'll see how they change at the starts here.
Glee. Glee.
And a different lead by both. Perp going into his typical start of the Skarmory.
Now, the Luis is a special attacker, so it's going to actually probably be able to do some work on this Skarmory while it sets up. But then Skarmory can threaten it out with Brave Bird back.
Yeah, and the not very effective Psychic hitting it for 41%, a large hit for a not very effective move. I wonder how much more it would have been if it was something that was effective. But let's see how Perp changes up his play based on this. Is he going to go into the Chansey? Is he just going to click Whirlwind knowing that he can eat another one of those? And Dirtttmannn taking the opportunity to swap, and Burp taking the opportunity
Ooh,
to swap into the original matchup from the first game. Dirtmann's got to know that this matchup's bad. And again, just knocked down almost to his sturdy to get a rapid spin off.
the
Is
leftovers
removing
getting him
rocks.
back to the sturdy from the entry hazards.
Yeah, not even coming into play with the skull dropping it down to 2%, but 8% is just not going to be able to do much. Bringing the grass back out. There's the burn, but the natural cure will take care of that in the long run. And the ice beam, Starmie's got all the tricks and the Giga Train to heal him
Ooh,
back up.
Oh,
he went for
another
the risky play.
Yeah, that easily could have been a roll. The Starmie's ice beam hitting hard, but not hard enough, and that Giga Drain just sucking him dry. Now, we've seen this matchup. The trick is the Aerodactyl's based off of his current speed until it Mega Evolves. Do you risk the speed matchup? No, he switches immediately. I'm fine with that personally. Threatening to burn the Aerodactyl now. Taking the Aerial Ace crit for 39%. Not a great hit, but off a crit, that's pretty good. I'm imagining we see a burn out of the Dusclops. I'm imagining we see a swap out of the Aerodactyl, possibly into the Chansey, just knowing that the two of them can't do anything to each other, and at least being able to take a second to say, all right, get the poison out and just get going. No,
Ooh.
the Aerial Ace into the burn. Perp trying to push this game further with the aggressive attacks.
Now I bet you he's got a pain split queued up, which to this Chansey, yep, that's going to heal him back to full.
Yeah, but now
Chansey
he's
being a
going to have
very
to
bulky.
swap into the Celebi. Good swap, expecting the Toxic. The Natural Cure will be able to take care of that, taking some damage. But again, the risk here is that you're on a special attacker. You can't threaten out the Chansey. He's got to realize that he needs his physical attacks to take out this Chansey. Unfortunately, whatever he brings into now will either be taking a seismic toss or a thrown out poison or coming into something completely different. He goes with Donovan, a pretty safe bet. There's the heal bell, curing the burn to reactivate the now mega evolved Aerodactyl. Donovan actually healing up a little bit more with the leftovers, taking advantage of those free turns. Let's see if he can get anything going against the Chansey. Possibly an opportunity to throw out rocks. I'd love to see a knockoff out. Even an Earthquake will hit hard into the Chansey, but a knockoff for the Eviolite's going to break it pretty well, too. Personally, though, I like taking the opportunity to get the rocks out. Going with the Earthquake, a crit for 45% and a Seismic Toss kills
Getting
the
some big
Donovan.
damage. If he tosses out the Arcanine, that would threaten this Chansey out.
Yeah, this is the Arcanine's opportunity to come in
Oh,
without taking any damage, and no, he goes into the Celebi. Why are you afraid to use your Arcanine? It can crush this thing. And Softboil just undoing the work that Donovan died for. Dirtttmannn does not care about his Pokemon. He just lets them fight to the death, getting the Toxic out. Now he's going to want to switch for the Natural Cure, but whatever he throws out is going to come into an attack or a completely different Mon. Going into the Venusaur, knowing that the stall type here is a good opportunity to go ahead and get the Mega Evolution in, especially with the Poison typing protected from the Toxic. Goes into the Sludge Bomb. I would have loved to have seen a Leech Seed out there, but a Toxic, oh, it's immune.
Perp finding out. The only thing that's going to be really good effective against him is going to either be a burn or a paralyze.
Yeah, but going for more Sludge Bombs, he needs to get a Leech Seed out. He needs to set up to stay in for the long haul. There's the poison, but guess what? Chansey's got Heal Bell.
And he's at half health now.
There, he
Okay,
finally
there we
gets
go.
the Leech Seed, and he's trying to get both of his clocks running at the same time to burn down the Chansey at end of turn. But the problem is you've got to get your guaranteed clock off the leech seed, especially to have the healing factor to be able to keep you in the match. Now, it's an obvious protect from Dirtttmannn. Chansey could take advantage, but the poison ticks are just going to last longer and longer. The leech seed healing up the Venusaur. Now I'd like to see another leech seed just predicting a swap.
I almost like the swap into Arcanine. Get
There's a
the
switch into Skarmory, taking the Giga Drain respectfully. You've got to pull your Venusaur here now. You do not want to take a Brave Bird. Get the Arcanine out here. Get the Slowbro out here if it's got Flamethrower. Dusclops, he'll work as well. The Roost healing up the Skarmory. This is where we need to see more burn. The Chansey coming right back out. Taking the burn. You got to swap off the Dusclops right now. Going into Celebi, he's seeming to like this pivot, but it's just giving the Chansey an opportunity to get a free soft boil off because you have nothing to really threaten it with. Again, you're going into one of the premium special walls. But Perp just swapping again. The Giga Drain coming in, healing him up. Is that the opening that Dirtttmannn needed? Oh no, but he leaves it into the aerial ace. That's the way it died last time. How do you make the same mistake again? Oh, but the Aerodactyl's low. He could threaten it out. Goes with the Slowbro, which is going to give the Aerodactyl an opportunity to act. But looking at the team, he's got nothing else that would outspeed it, barring an extreme speed from the Arcanine. But as a rock flyer, it is not within range yet.
out comes the Chansey again.
And Dirtttmann's got to see it. He's got to see it. The Venusaur works. The Venusaur works. But that Arcanine can kill the Chansey and remove the problem. Perp's team is 2 steals and a Chansey. Those are swept by Arcanine. Skarmory may be a little difficult with it being such a premium physical wall. But even still, the Arcanine is what's important. He's got to use it, and he's got to use it right at the right times. And there he goes, getting the Leech Seed out immediately, prioritizing that. Great plays, especially looking at these 2 Steelmon. Going for the Protect, just going to get some healing off, but the Stealth Rock comes out. Free Stealth Rock for Perp. The Skarmory also could have just roosted. This thing's got a lot of non-attacking moves. Protect stalling is not going to be very effective. Going with the Giga Drain. I'm glad to see we didn't see a poison attack. The Whirlwind's going to switch it up, bringing out the Dusclops. But with those Leech Seeds sitting out there, just the Whirlwind spam on Skarmory is not going to be enough out of it. The Chansey coming back out. A miss on the Toxic. There's the Will-O-Wisp. Back and forth we go. This game is getting grindy. Going for the Protect into the Toxic. He needs to swap out. He cannot get anything out of this Dusclops against the Chansey. The only thing he can get is poisoned, and there he goes into Matthew. The heal belt coming out from Perp saying, fine, if you're going to protect me out, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that burn. This does give an opportunity for a poison or a paralysis to get onto the Chansey, which could be a little more impactful. A little difficult for the poison with the heal bell still there. There's the Skarmory immune to the poison.
I definitely want to see Dirtttmannn predict when Chansey's going to be healing and throw out that Arcanine and just be able to punch through.
Yeah, and that's a bold Leech Seed directly into the Skarmory's face. He could have easily taken a Brave Bird and taken a massive amount of damage here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Protect for him to scout, but no, going into Slowbro, I like the matchup that he's going for, but the Whirlwind's just going to bring out the Arcanine. All right, it's
Now
time
we
for
see
the
it.
Arcanine to go in. You need to click and attack and move, and you need to push the envelope forward. It's a little sketchier against the Skarmory. I would have liked to have seen it against another one, but here comes the Chansey. This is the matchup you wanted. But with
Oh,
a wild charge, you need to go for either your stabbed Flare Blitz or a close combat. The
he
Flare
definitely
Blitz would have been
favors
the
that
move.
wild charge.
Yeah, I would have liked that Flare Blitz. It's hard to click the wild charge knowing that the Jolteon's sitting there able to absorb it, but he just keeps clicking it. Now he's poisoned. The clock just
Is
gets shorter and shorter.
Chansey taking wild charge like a champ.
It is
15%
taking it
damage.
very well, but he needs to
Heavily
understand that
defensive
you
investment.
have to stack your damage on top of each other. There it is.
There
There's the
you
Flare
go.
Blitz. Such an easy kill. It could have done that percents ago. I'm imagining we're going to see an Aerodactyl to come out to threaten it out. Yep, there it is. We need to see Dusclops come out against the Aerodactyl. Just wall it off and try and find your opening. Potentially the Slowbro can make a play as well. But he goes into the Venusaur. This is scary. A Stone Edge Venusaur did not like that. Taking 41% down to 41%.
I don't think he survives an aerial ace at this health.
And
No, he does
he
not.
does not, but he makes the mistake staying into it. You have to protect your Venusaur. And Arcanine coming back in, getting an Intimidate off, but oh, it's low. The only way it's going to be able to get any damage out is by going for the extreme speed. He does realize to go for that, but it's just not much against that rock typing. Dirtttmannn just throwing this game away, mistake after mistake. He had it. He had openings.
He just did not have any way to deal with the Chansey that he could find. He
All
tried
he had to
everything.
do All he had to do was protect the Venusaur until it's at a point where it can stall the game out. And that means killing the Aerodactyl and killing the Skarmory. You can lose all your other pieces to kill the Aerodactyl, and you can even potentially beat out the Skarmory.
One thing he did not try was the Arcanine. And then he finally did. He used the wrong move.
Yeah, using the wrong move and using the wrong move twice in a row is damning in one of these battles.
Now we see Metagross for the first time.
Yeah, PurpATL throughout the season has not been able to get great use out of this Metagross, but let's see if it can get it now. Look at that Rocky Helm just chipping away. Oh, that would have been great earlier in the game to splash in throughout the battles. Pursuit super effective, but not very powerful with the Slowbro staying in. The critical hit off the Scald. The Slowbro clearly does not have the tools to attack this Metagross. It has so many things in its move pool to be able to attack all of these Steelmon. How has Dirtttmannn not put Flamethrower on his Slowbro for this matchup?
Both players thinking about what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it could potentially still be a close match. Dirtttmannn having two very difficult walls to deal with and difficult in different ways. Slowbro getting a heal off the regenerator there. The Dusclops being able to pain split down some of Perp's beefy mon left. The Whirlwind bringing the Slowbro back out, but that's just giving him the opportunity to trigger his regenerator again. It's a very odd matchup on how to break this combination of Slowbro and Dusclops. The big thing that we're looking for is we're looking for that Jolteon to have an opportunity to come in against the Slowbro. Perp going for it immediately, soaking up the Thunder Wave. And now Dirtmann's in a hard spot. He's got a hard swap to Dusclops. It'll take the rocks, and now it has to survive potentially 2 hits from the Jolteon. The hidden power coming out, critting for 30%. It should be able to survive another and go for a pain split. Perp pushing it even lower. He's just going to take more damage from it.
Oh,
Back up to 74%.
not sure what type of hidden power that is, but I think he got baited by the critical hit and thought it was going to be a lot more effective than it was.
Yeah, you got to go for the electric attacks there. Just trust your stab yet again. Even if he switches the Slowbro into the Dusclops, that's what you're going to want to be hitting it with unless you have Shadow Ball in your moveset. Ghost being weak to Ghost.
Dirtmann looking like there's some life from him all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation where you're trying to whirlwind down your opponents with the Skarmory, and the Slowbro can just heal more than you're able to damage off of the rocks there. Just massive heals off the Regenerator. And the Dusclops just being able to be very tricky. Going for the double burn there. Potentially calling the swap and wanting to get a clock on the Jolteon. And yeah, what an weird situation. Did not see this coming where Dirtmann just has such a team of walls left. And Perp does not have the offensive pressure to be able to push it down. The burn really coming in handy on that Skarmory, just ticking it down and cutting those Brave Birds damage.
Unfortunately, he finally finds Brave Bird when he's burned and it won't do any damage.
The play here is probably to keep whirlwinding. Use that burn to keep your health low on Skarmory and look for an opportunity to kill the Dusclops. If you can get just Charles out.
Yeah, killing the Dusclops and getting a one-on-one matchup of Charles versus Jolteon sounds like the optimal way to win this game, but how do you do it?
But he's working against himself every roost that he takes.
And
Not only
anytime
that,
you whirlwind, he can just switch back to Charles, and Charles can just keep healing. And a side shot going into the Jolteon, hitting him hard, but Jolteon's going to have an opportunity to attack here.
And the thing is, because Whirlwind is negative priority,
coming, just tanking the Thunderbolt, but it's a lot of damage.
Jolteon has the speed on this. One more.
Oh, he swaps out!
He switches to the Skarmory, letting
pain
Doug
split. The pain split would have healed the Jolteon.
Oh no.
That's how pain split works, right? It would have healed Jolteon?
Yes, pain split increases or puts both health pools into one and distributes it evenly.
And he had to have known he was faster.
And the Nightshade, he's finally clicking Nightshade. He's found the damaging button. It only doesn't work against the normal Pokemon Chansey. He's been so scared of hitting it because of that. Perp having no ghost Pokemon on his team. It easily could have been Seismic Toss instead of Nightshade and just made that matchup miserable for the Chansey. But no, the Dusclops finally clicking the Nightshade.
Losing that opportunity, that speed tier for Jolteon to take out the Dusclops might have been the end of this match.
He's still in it. He could still do what you were saying before of allowing the Skarmory to go low and getting as much chip onto the Dusclops as you can. But it's going to be tough.
That's not going to work, though, because Whirlwind has negative priority. He'll always get a pain split off before Whirlwind.
It's
so he'll always be able to heal.
Because he's found the Nightshade button and he knows that it works now.
Nightshade.
Only the
found the Nightshade button.
Jolteon, 62%. We don't think Jolteon can do this without a big crit. There it is. There's the Nightshade for the game 2.
Be going to game 3.
We're going to game 3. I didn't see it coming. I thought Dirtmann had thrown that game several times.
Oh my
but he was able to come back in with
You're not done, man. Game 3.
Go to game 3. Get your battle 3 in there.
Oh my god!
Quit trying to listen to advice. You don't have time for beer. We're streaming it live. It's one thing. God, you're miserable. I'm gonna have to kick you out of the next league.
Judge!
What a miserable person.
What a miserable person.
But as everyone knows, there's no way we can get rid of the Dirtmann. The Dirtmann is here. The Dirtmann is the only weakness of Mammox. He's the only loss Mammox has. The people need Dirtmann to come through.
He's my foil.
We're giving them the good to go to get the game 3 on. Aerodactyl against Celebi.
Celebi with that Giga Drain might be able to hold up against the Mega Aerodactyl.
Yeah, but
Ooh,
we've
Ooh,
seen
he
it
survives.
get
really
crushed
hard.
by those aerial aces time and time again, and going for the U-turn, taking so much damage. He's going to have to get some heavy momentum against this Aerodactyl with this swap in.
I think he just goes Venusaur.
You got to go to that slow, bro. You got to be afraid of the
Oh,
aerial
man.
ace. You don't want to take that on your grass Pokemon. You want to have your slow, bro, just whittle it down with the Rocky Helm and just heal up with the Regenerator. But going into Alex, taking the crit from the Stone Edge with the higher crit rate on Stone Edge, as well as the super effective hit of the Rock against the Fire. And now he brings in Donovan. Not too sure what Donovan's going to do against an Aerodactyl. He cannot Earthquake into him. The flying immunity is there.
He's got to remember to
And his
keep his
Mega.
physical attackers
But
for.
Starmie comes in as a known matchup for the Donovan, its natural enemy. He gets the Stealth Rock out, though. Switch! Now! Switch!
God, get Donovan out.
No! The critical down to Sturdy. Just
Wow.
throwing away your Pokemon to get poison on something that's got natural cure. Going
Just
into the
doesn't.
Matthew, the Ice Beam coming in before it Mega Evolves. It's not taking it as well.
Now, he'll have Thick Fat, right? Is that after he Mega Evolves?
Yep, coming into play there. The crit only doing 25%. The Leech Seed's out. I would have loved to have seen a Giga Drain there. If the Starmie has a Psychic attack, you are dead here, though. The Natural Cure, I'm assuming it doesn't as the Skarmory comes into play to threaten it out with the Flying. He gets the Giga Drain off for a little bit of healing. You're going to need a switch here, Dirtttmannn. You're going to need to retreat. He does into the Dusclops. He's figured out his matchups. He's going into his wall combination earlier, but the combination doesn't work as well when there's so many targets to Whirlwind. But Starmie coming back out into the Will-O-Wisp. Going for the recover against the Dusclops. The Nightshade hitting pretty hard, though, a respectable 39%. He's found the Nightshade button. He knows how it works, but now here's going to come Chansey, I bet.
Yeah, you can't forget that he has an answer for this.
See if he predicts the swap to Chansey. It'd be a great time to put in Arcanine.
Oh, and he swaps into Donovan, who lives at 1%.
Oh,
A massive
1%.
survive.
Incredible.
He's going to be able to get a move against the
Potentially
Chansey.
massive misplay. But we avoided any catastrophe.
He rapid spins away the rocks.
All right, so now he has no more physical because Arcanine is dead.
Arcanine did get taken.
It's going to be
Right.
all up to the Venusaur to be able to kill this
To a
Chansey.
Shima.
And he goes into Luis, who has just not been having a good matchup against the Chansey. The Giga Drain healing it a little bit. The Seismic Toss hurting it a lot. Goes into another Giga Drain. The Seismic Toss is going to kill here, and it does, just eliminating another tool for Dirtttmannn to potentially use. He's going down to his 3 walls. He has no choice but to try and stall Perp out now. With amazing healing on these 3 Mon, though, there is definitely potential for this, but we are in for a long match. If Dirtttmannn plays it right, we are in for a short match if Perp starts busting these walls down. And a poison onto the Chansey, gonna turn the clock up a little bit. And the Seismic Toss is just crushing away, just chipping away at the Venusaur. Going for a Giga Drain to get a little bit more healing on there. The Soft Boil comes out. The poison's just going to tick for more. I'm imagining a heal bell soon. Dirtttmannn goes
Interesting
into
swap on the slow, bro.
Ooh,
Oh, but
pretty
Perp
good
goes into
swap.
Skarmory. You're fine with this matchup here, but out come the rocks again. You're not going to be able to get rid of them this time. But a good Scald into the Skarmory. The Skarmory could be scared now and start to roost spam. It does. Dirtttmannn taking the opportunity to get a Thunder Wave on it. But there is still Chansey that can cleanse it off. And Starmie taking a crit from the Scald and barely holding on. There's the recover. Another crit from Dirtttmannn. He's getting the crits now, but he's only got half of his team left. Is it too little too late? He cannot do this matchup with the Slowbro against the Starmie.
He's hitting random attacks now, throwing what were two decently damaging moves into Starmie and ending with an Ice Beam. Maybe predicting a swap, but
Something some status effect would be great off of those hits, but with the natural cure of the Starmie, you're just not going to make good progress off of that. You've got to get not into that. It's a fine matchup, to be honest, especially with the paralysis out there, you being able to just kind of click Nightshades and wait for your opportunity to get the kill. But the Chansey's still out there. This was your opportunity to get your Venusaur set back up, get a Leech Seed in, then predict the swaps and get more Leech Seeds out there. Just heal, 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 and chip away at Perp's 6 remaining Mon. The burn goes on, but that's just going to make more damage go out, and Dusclops is honestly fine with that. Goes into the Venusaur, finally seeing the opportunity. The recover goes out on the Starmie. It's time to get a Leech Seed out there. The Skarmory's coming out, and then you just got to swap again. Oh, into Jolteon. Not a great matchup, but potentially that hidden power of the Jolteon will be super effective against the Venusaur. But will the power of hidden power be enough to break it? And no, he just swaps directly into Aerodactyl, taking a Sludge Bomb, just chip damage going around. But this is where you don't want your Venusaur to be. Boom! Big Aerial Ace, 67%. Leech Seed going out. You need to switch into the Slowbro and save as much health. Potentially just do a Protect before you do. There's the Protect.
There
Get
you
the
go.
extra bit of healing. Aerodactyl saw it coming from a mile away, healing up with the Roost. It is time to switch into Slowbro. You need to protect this Venusaur. He does not. He loses the Venusaur. He is into his 2-wall combination. Perp struggled with it before, but this time he has all of his tools. The Dusclops also low at 35% here. Aerodactyl being able to threaten a kill. Can it hit it for 35% before that Leech Seed will protect it from the burn damage? A Pain Split would heal it massively as well.
I think this all hinges on being able to survive this one attack.
Oh, and he goes for a Protect. That'll allow the Leech Seed to trade with the burn, getting the Aerodactyl a little bit lower, which will actually lower your Pain Split healing, which is why I would have loved to have seen a Pain Split immediately. There's the Pain Split, going to get some good healing out of that. The Leech Seed bringing the Dusclops back up into a good spot. Aerodactyl going for the Roost. There's the Nightshade, 33%, a big hit.
That Leech Seed's doing work. He needs to swap it out to something else just to break it. He can't reapply it.
And at 34%, there goes the Chansey. He can't take another Nightshade. And a failed Protect. Here's the matchup that you just cannot do anything in.
And now that he's burned, he can't be toxic, so you literally can't do anything.
Yeah, the Pain Splits off the Chansey will heal the Dusclops for a massive amount. In order to beat it, you're going to have to go down to a low amount of health and just hit it with something. But what can the Chansey hit it with? They stare each other down, possibly just shrugging at the screen, going, I don't know what to do because there's not much to do. This is an awkward stall where they just look at each other. If I'm Perp, I keep that burn on my Chansey to stop that Pain Split from healing the Dusclops so much. Look at the difference in those health pools, though. You can also just start clicking the soft boil and trading in soft boils for just PP and PP and PP and just wait out the Pain Splits. But with 6 Mon, you want to try and do something more aggressive than that. I would like to see him try and get a clean soft boil out to heal up the Chansey and then go for a swap. There's the soft boil. Another Will-O-Wisp just getting thrown out into the ether. And now we need a swap. 60% is enough for Chansey. He just goes for another soft boil. Healing up. Dirtttmannn just wasting PP. But PP he can waste in this matchup. Time is Dusclops' ally for the pain splits, but not for the swaps. There goes the Metagross. There's the pain split. Let's see how you wall something that can actually threaten you. Oh, and no buff off the Meteor Mash, and the burn goes out. Metagross' attack is going to be cut. Perp's got to know that he needs to go low and just chip the Dusclops down as much as he can before bringing in something to kill it.
Now, them burning together is going to make Pain Split a lot less effective.
Yeah, he needs to understand that he goes low and not worry about the burn on his Metagross to swap into the Chansey for cleansing it. He just needs to keep pressing attacks until the Metagross dies. But no, he goes into Starmie, which will operate better against the Dusclops with the ability to eat the burn. The Will-O-Wisp going back out. That should have been a Nightshade or a Pain Split. He needs to start thinking about how to move the bar forward without burn for the Mons that it doesn't cut the attack on. Starmie coming in for the Mega Aerodactyl. The Pain Split barely healing the burn, bringing him lower than he is. This is the point where you can kill the Dusclops. Does Dirtttmannn see it? He does. He brings out Charles. The Rocky Helm still intact. He eats the Aerial Ace like he should have been eating them for Venusaur the whole time. The Rocky Helm chipping back the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl at 11%. A Roost coming out. Let's see if it was the clean and clear Scald. No, he goes for a Psyshock. You got to hit that Scald and attack that Rock type, potentially burning the Aerodactyl as well, which would be devastating to Perp's offensive pressure. But no, he just keeps clicking Psyshock. The Aerial Ace coming down, but the Rocky Helm bringing it in within range and the crit cleaning it up cleanly anyway.
I think you just bring out Jolteon and put this thing to bed. Oh, no.
Here comes the Starmie. He sits in against it. He gets the Thunder Wave on the Starmie. The speed shouldn't matter. His Pokemon are so slow right now, but the Paralyze could give him the turn advantage that he needs to start removing some more and more offensive pressure from the team. He takes the opportunity to go into Doug. The Rock's bringing him low. The Paralysis Cure, oh my god, a swap into the Chansey, and Burn bringing Dusclops down to 1%. This is going to be a massive pain split. All Perp can do is try and throw one of his low health Pokemon out into it to keep the Dusclops within burn range, or possibly revenge killing after the burn tick. The 1% Dusclops is just barely holding on. He's a ghost with the most. He's going to pop the Pain Split, the Heal Bell coming out, removing the burn and the Pain Split. Oh my god,
Oh
what
my
a
God.
massive swing. You were so close to killing it.
We're going to suffer through this a little longer.
In a game 3 of a meaningful match, I am willing to suffer as long as it takes. Toxic going out on the Charles, that is going to be impactful. That is going to affect its healing abilities with that Toxic just being able to tick it and tick it and tick it. He goes into Dusclops, which notably does have pressure, so it does win these PP battles, but your PP battle is against 5 other Pokemon. Perp, done playing these games, brings out the Skarmory, takes the burn. Let's see if he falls for the Whirlwind Trap to just start triggering the Regenerator over and over again. The Pain Split healing Doug a little bit, bringing back out Charles, who takes some rocks and some poison to burn on the Skarmory. And bringing out Jolteon for the matchup, he just goes straight back into the Dusclops. He knows how this works now. He just gets the Regenerator to heal, and he just keeps the Dusclops
What
alive.
the fuck do I do?
And Perp showing his frustration as this matchup of these two wall combination. He entered it with 6 Pokemon. How can he break it? Does his Jolteon have the Shadow Ball? The Pain Split coming out, healing it up a little bit. The Roar forcing the swap out, bringing in the Slowbro to take the rocks and the poison yet again. But time is his friend in this. He can just go into the Thunderbolt, but no, he switches into the Chansey, allowing Charles to get the Psyshock off. Hitting Chansey harder than its other moves would hit it for, but not very hard at all. In comes Doug. The Soft Boil healing up the Chansey. The Dusclops licking his lips, looking at that massive health pool. The Seismic Toss is immune. The Will-O-Wisp goes out, but Chansey can cure it of itself if it needs to. Dirtttmannn just not here with the dirt cam right now. I would love to see some dirt cam right now just to see what's going on.
We had the perp audio a second ago.
Yeah, the frustration is real. The Pain Split just cuts the Chansey so hard, healing it up all the way.
Imagine a Venusaur still in the mix.
Imagine if a Venusaur was still in the mix. If the Venusaur was in the mix, though, the Roars and the Whirlwinds may be a little less clean to trigger the Regenerators constantly. The two of each other here just stalling each other out. Dusclops a leech just stuck onto Chansey's side. The immune attacks just over and over again. I wonder how this matchup would have been different if the Dusclops had the Seismic Toss to threaten the Chansey back. I don't even know if it would want to. This Chansey is also its lifeline. In comes the Skarmory onto the Pain Split, barely healing the Dusclops. Perp's done this before. He's put him in this situation before. And what is he going to go for to try and push the advantage? Slowbro comes out into the Skarmory. Brave Bird coming in. The recoil from Brave Bird plus the Rocky Helm taking the Skarmory low. Notably, that burn was removed, which would have killed. Charles, though, looking a little low at 50% with the Toxic on as well. That Toxic timer will continue to tick out. He cannot sit out on the battlefield. Oh, and Dirtttmannn just switches him straight out. But this is an opportunity. 12% on the Dusclops. It's time to go in for the Thunderbolt if you don't have the Shadow Ball. Either one. Oh, and he swaps to the Skarmory. The Pain Split. Just letting the burn do the work. He's broken it through unorthodox means.
I
but he
figured
has
it out. I
broken
figured it out.
In comes the Slowbro, who is staring down 5 Mon with a Toxic on him. It's going to be a miracle if he's able to stay in this entire time to be able to kill everything. He just continues to click Psyshock. Psyshock against Skarmory is the one you definitely don't want because it's attacking its defensive Skarmory, known as the Defensive Beast. The Scald hitting it much more respectfully. And Perp just willing to continue to stall. He's got poison on his side. You can't blame him for it. It's definitely the safer bet. But there he goes, pushing the envelope forward, saying, I just need to get damage on the guy. There goes the toxic, cleaning it up. What a game.
God, it took me way too long to figure out how that worked, dude.